themselves. But of course,
YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
this is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. They are revealing themselves, but of course, as is everything they do, it is being done by design. If you haven't heard, the Met Police have revealed that many of their members of the police force are, in fact, Freemasons. The Met Police, of course, is the Metropolitan Police in the Greater London area, the UK's largest law enforcement, which serves 32 boroughs and beyond, serving over 9 million residents plus millions of commuters. This is obviously being done by design. It isn't that they're being exposed, because they've exposed themselves so many times over the years. They expose themselves based on what they wear, which I'll get into in a minute. This is being done by design, again, because the goal here is AI governance. To bring in AI governance, what the world is going to look like is a world without police, which might sound very good to many, but of course, police will be replaced by robo-police. Yes, robo-police. They will be replaced by drones. They're already using drones, obviously, in many states in America, which I've covered over the last couple of years, using them to spy into your windows. They have the legal authority to look into your window. You call 911 because you have a domestic dispute. They'll send a drone and instead of sending a police officer. And again, this will all be run through surveillance, the surveillance grid that they're building out, which is the AI infrastructure grid, which Donald Trump is bringing in with these data centers. You could see, obviously, all the surveillance cameras that surround us on a day-to-day basis. But like I said, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you would know that the Met Police reveal themselves. Take a look at their uniforms. You can see the black and white Masonic checkerboard on their hat, even on their ties. This is the norm in the UK, but people don't see signs and symbols. So I don't know if they see their hats with the checkerboard and think that they're just NASCAR fans, or if they need a reality check. But here's the reality check. The Freemasons have infiltrated all forms of government, all forms of our society, school boards, the police, you name it. The black and white checkerboard floor, again, you could see inside of every single Freemasonic lodge in the world. There is a reason for that. Of course, they believe that the black and white checkerboard floors represent duality, their good deeds outweighing their bad deeds, light and darkness, good and evil, joy and sorrow, black and white. This, again, is their motto in Freemasonry, that your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, that the idea is that people are checkered, no one's path is all good or bad. These are things that they tell themselves because they commit so many awful deeds. They tried to tell themselves by doing a few good deeds that it outweighs things like abduction, murder, sacrifice, corruption, laundering money, all the things that they're involved in, all the corruption. But of course, they think in their minds, if they hold the door open for grandma at TGI Fridays, that's a good deed, and that'll obviously outweigh something like, murder or pedophilia, perhaps, right? So you might think that this is only going on in the UK now that they're revealing themselves in the UK, which they're saying more than 300 Metropolitan Police officers and staff have declared their involvement in the Freemasons after the force required them to do so last month. A high court judge has said the Met announced in December that membership of the Freemasons or similar organizations would be added to its declarable associations policy. Officers and staff were required to declare membership past or present of any organization that was confidential or had confidential membership, and requires members to support and protect each other. The move prompted the bodies representing Freemasons to begin legal action over the force's decision at the High Court. That's all part, again, of the show for protection for Freemasons, but the Freemasons know exactly what they're doing because this is all orchestrated. And if you think this is only going on in the UK, it's not. I've been covering this for years in America. The Fraternal Order of Police. Take a look at their logo. Okay, this is your logo for the Fraternal Order of Police. Do you see the star, aka the pentagram, inside the circle? Kind of like that star you constantly see around you, around Halloween or in bookstores now, people wearing it on their shirts, right? We all see it in movies, The Craft, etc. That is a pentagram, okay? This is witchcraft, sorcery. Now you notice on that logo here in America, you'll see the black and white checkerboard floors right in the middle. You'll even see an eyeball, an all-seeing eye, right? Just like on the back of the dollar bill, but we're all conspiracy theorists, right? And then you see the Masonic handshake as well. So they tell you that they're a secret fraternal order and they're running the police, right? We can see their logos on many badges for police officers around America. Every state has this, and you'll see it on badges on some patrol officers. They won't even hide it from you. And why is this important? Well, this tells you how these psyops actually work. For people who say to people like me, well, how could you say that George Floyd, that wasn't real? Or Renee Good, that wasn't real, that the police are in on it. Well, this is how the police are in on it, right? Kind of like the police officer in the George Floyd situation that posed nicely with his knee on the back of his neck, made sure he got that photograph so that, again, they could build out the defund the police and Black Lives Matters movements and begin chaos across America. This is how they stage these things. This is how they get these police officers who should use common sense and say, well, I'm not going to go up to a black person and punch him in the face because it's going to be on CNN and I'm going to lose my job and I'm going to lose everything, my home, etc. I'm going to be put in jail. I'm going to be on every single news station, so I'll probably never be able to have a job ever again anywhere, even at McDonald's, right? You'd think that they would think that way, but how many stories did we hear after the George Floyd incident where white police officers were pulling over black people?
This is a heart killer. This is a heart killer. This is a heart killer. A starving heart makes healthy men die young. Do this to unclog your heart arteries fast.
Him out of the car and saying racial things on film. Of course, that's because they're being told to do this, and there's no repercussions for them. They're actually given bonuses and rewards and shipped off to different police departments, and you never remember their faces. Nobody remembers the face of any of these people who are involved in any of these psyops that they operate, because their life just continues on, and they continue to every single day create these psyops. And because of the Fraternal Order Police and the Freemasons' involvement, that's how they carry out these psyops and false flag operations. Again, Donald Trump, when he was he was running, I put that in quotations because, of course, nobody's running for president. They're selected as president. If you think your vote counts, well, you probably believe in the Easter Bunny. But Donald Trump, on behalf of the 377,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police, we proudly endorsed Donald J. Trump, the Fraternal Order of Police, of course, endorsing Trump. Trump is obviously in the Brotherhood, but they all are. Left, right, it doesn't actually matter. But this got MAGA to completely ignore what the Fraternal Order of Police is. You could see, like I said, see on the logo, the all-seeing eye, the Masonic secret handshake, right? And again, Freemasons are in all of our towns. They've infiltrated all walks of life. Their school board, this is how they get a lot of those agendas in the school, okay? They comes down from the government, but they're the ones who are on the school board who are allowing this into your local school, who's allowing all these gender ideologies and all this ridiculous stuff that nobody wants in the first place. They're sitting on the school board. They're told to do these things. And again, in your town, the Freemasons are also doing what? Well, they have their child ID programs because they have to keep a nice profile because they don't want you to realize who they actually are. And of course, we all know that they actually believe that Lucifer is the god of this world, and that is who they worship. So they have these child ID programs all around America. And what do? Well, they say, in school shootings and all these events, it's important to have all this kit, right, for your children so we can find your children, which we've seen the mainstream media actually glorify and tell everyone they should do, right? So they get digital photographs of your children from multiple angles, digital fingerprints of your children, inkless scanned, physical description. So they got everything, identifying marks on their body, scars, etc. So they do a full body investigation, video interview of your child, capturing voice, mannerisms, appearance. Of course, that'll go right into your digital twin, into your data center, because they really need your voice, right? Well, of course they need your voice because they're going to store all this stuff. And of course, that comes along with a DNA sample, right? And they tell you that this is because in the event of a school shooting, you might not be able to identify your kid. Newsflash, if your kid's involved in the school shooting, maybe like 10 hours after the school shooting occurs, if he doesn't come home and you don't hear from him, you probably assume that he's in the school shooting. But again, they use these things to get parents to willingly give up their child's freedoms, give up their personal things like fingerprints and DNA. And again, it says sometimes additional items like dental impression as well. So they're even getting the dental impression on these children. What are the other things that they do? Well, they're involved in the Shriners hospitals, right? So this is how they keep a good profile. This is what the celebrities do. I've always talked about this. They walk around telling you how much money they donate to charity. How many articles will we see? Oh, Kim Kardashian donated this. Oh, Oprah donates that. Oh, Bill Gates donates that. Because they want, in the sheeple's mind, for them to perceive them as good people. Oh, they're helping out. Look, Bill Gates wants to die with no money. He doesn't even want to leave any to his kids. Oh, give me a break. If you believe that, you are completely gone. And there's not even a point in having a conversation with you if you believe that type of crap. Yeah, Bill Gates is going to leave nothing to his kids. He's going to leave nothing at all. He's giving it all to third world countries. Yeah, he's going to give all his money away into building out more vaccines. That's about it. He's not giving it to children. He's not giving it to third world countries. And that's why you always see in these talk shows like Ellen, celebrities will come on with the giant check and they'll act like they're great people, because if you ever catch on to them with all their Instagram posts, with them holding pizza over their face, or all the creepy things they do, the satanic stuff we see them publicly post, well, they want you to remember they're giving to charity, they're good people, so that the sheeple will defend them and say, nah, they're a really good person. I'm a fan of theirs. I like what they do. Well, the Masons do the same thing. Right? So they tell you that, oh, we want your kids' DNA because we want to help. Just like the Shriners Hospital. Oh, we're trying to help the children. So we have all these children hospitals, right? There's 22 Shriners Children's Hospitals across America. Yeah. Wonder, first of all, if we have a check-in on how any of those children are actually doing as far as, well, when the Shriners actually go and visit them at the hospital. But we would, people go, that's a great thing that the Shriners do that. You should shut up. You shouldn't say stuff like that. Well, there shouldn't be children's hospitals in America. Okay, children normally, yeah, children die. Can a child die? Yeah, but children at the rate of what we're seeing with getting leukemia and cancer, that's not normal. And the Freemasons and the Shriners, they're the ones who are responsible for making your kids sick, right? They're the ones responsible for vaccines, right? All these guys. You think of Bill Gates and Fauci, they're all in the same secret societies. They're all high-ranking. They've gone through Freemasons. They're probably involved in other secret societies. But they're all involved in, and responsible for mandating vaccines, pushing vaccines on your kids, on parents to give it to their kids. They're the ones bombing us in the sky with chemtrails every single day. They're the ones who stuck up all these 5G towers and told us it was, well, you're going to download music faster. That's why we're putting them up. Oh, okay. And everybody's sick, exposed to radiation. Everyone's tired, depressed. We know what exactly it could do with your mind as well, the frequencies that are being sent at us. They're the ones who are putting chemicals in processed foods, right? They're the ones who pretty much have made it impossible for people to farm, making it really difficult, based on what they've done with sun shielding, et cetera. And it's not just that, they've made it extremely difficult for people to farm because people have to work office jobs, et cetera, and they don't have time to farm. Right? They've got, they go, well, you don't need to farm. You could just go to the grocery store, right? And all the foods there are processed. They're all garbage. And then you don't have time to go home and cook dinner. You got to pick up McDonald's or pick up some other human flesh burger. And it's all processed stuff, making you sick, right? Or the water we could look at, going back to guys like Stalin who have poisoned the water, put fluoride in the water, right? So these are the same exact people responsible for all of that. So they're revealing themselves as Freemasons in the UK. Be incredible if they did that in America, because, the cops, even though they have the badges that show Freemasonry, not all of them have it. Like if you have a police officer friend, it doesn't mean that they're going to have a Freemasonic badge, but they constantly reveal themselves right in front of everybody's faces, and nobody understands who they are, what they do. And then when we talk about psyops and false flags, they just roll their eyes and they go, these people are crazy. Oh, Renee Good's in on it. Oh, this person's in on it. Oh, that person's in on it. Well, if you understand how secret societies work and the network that they have, then you realize how all this stuff gets accomplished. How they get these things in the school, how they get these things in your town, how suddenly you see, these things in your town that you wouldn't normally see, all these, charging stations that keep popping up. They're involved with all of it, and they help get it on a township level and bring it to towns around America. So the UK is revealing themselves. And again, this is by design. This is, again, to take down infrastructure. Everybody, nobody's like, oh, I love the police, right? Of course, they've gotten MAGA on board to love the police because of the whole left hating the police, so that makes MAGA automatically love the police. But nobody loves the police, so people go, oh, that's a good thing. And they're making it so that eventually people will accept RoboCops and all that stuff, because they say, look, these police officers are here without judgment. They're not going to judge you on your skin. They're not going to judge you on this or that. They're just strictly going to enforce the law, and everyone's going to cheer for it and applaud it, right? So the Masons are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, bring it down to the ground so they can bring in, obviously, their surveillance grid, which will have robo-police, drones left and right, surveillance cameras everywhere, and, of course, Palantir at the helm. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.